level. Sir has done such webinars and talk shows and training sessions with many, many thousands of people. And today it is our privilege that Sir has agreed to come and speak to our students. I'm sure, sir, our students are going to learn a lot at the end of this 2 hours. And on behalf of NBS and on behalf of all my students, I welcome you for the webinar and thank you very much for agreeing to talk to our students. So students, not wasting any more of your time, I would now request Venkatraman sir to start with his presentation. But before we move on with that, a small reminder of the rules that have been discussed before. All the students are requested to stay on mute and keep their videos off. When sir asks a question, if you want to answer that question, simply raise your hands and then we'll tell who should answer. Then only unmute yourself. If you have any questions you want to ask, sir, you can take a note of those questions and at the end of the seminar we can have a question answer session. Okay? All clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Sir, if you're ready,
Yes,
it would be
ma'am.
a privilege to listen to you.
Yeah. Good afternoon to all. This is Venkatramana as introduced. I work with a multinational company here in Surat. As described, I have over 20 years of experience. And today we are going to talk about the future of leadership 2030. And I hope everybody can see the screen.
Yes, sir. We can see the
Yes,
PPT,
ma'am.
the first page.
Yeah, okay, let us start with that one. Yeah. So today what we are going to talk about in this session about in 120 minutes more. So the contents will be like this. What is the leadership? Who are leaders? What are the attributes of leadership and the leadership and management? How millennials are different. This is the main subject of our discussion today, and the leadership spectrum for the next generation, which is coming in next 1 decade or 2 decades or so, and what will be the challenges for the leadership in coming generations. And of course, eighth number is the most important thing. Keys to be successful leader in future. There we will be spending around 45 to 50 minutes on the point number 8, and 1 to 7 will cover in 45 minutes. So, before starting our presentation, just I wanted to add how I would correlate with this topic and how would I qualify to talk to you in this subject. See, I have worked with a public sector company called BHEL for almost 50 years, and I have been working with the Indian MNC almost 15 years. Altogether, it is 28, 29 years of experience. I have from a background of agriculture family. Now, how does it relate to our leadership qualities? Now, in a public sector, you will have a different kind of management systems. We all know that being a government companies, when it comes to MNCs, they have got their own style of working and management and leadership. And coming from a background of agriculture family, you learn many things unconsciously. If you correlate those things now from your childhood to today, you can understand how these leadership qualities can be attributes to our experience to the industry and in turn into the future. So now the leadership, you are MBA students, you might have read about many things, your professors might have taught many things, but the leadership really can grow up and groom by practice. The leadership is learning and experimenting and growing. That's called the leadership all about. And see, I work with public sector. Their style of working, their leadership is more of an accommodative type. When it comes to multinational companies, it's more about result-oriented leadership. At the same time, the adaptability, the tolerance will be little bit of not so flexible as public sectors. So, having the experience of both the companies, the leadership qualities for the next generation will be very, very important for us to take forward. I'm going to share my experience and what the world is looking at you guys coming into the industry and taking this leadership forward behind 2030. Before starting the session, I'm going to ask a few questions to you. The first question is that, are you doing what you wanted to do? Are you getting what you wanted to get? Are you doing what you can do? Are you procrastinating? Are you living your purpose? Are you using your ideas? Are you using your power to exercise your dreams? Are you got into comfortable position? Are you challenging yourself? Are you surrounded by the good who can train you, can handhold you and take forward? Are you do you meet your expectations? Are your life adventurous or boring? At the end, are you happy? Ladies and gentlemen, these are the few questions you need to ask yourself every day, because somebody else may not come and ask these questions to you. These questions are very important questions, and you need to ask time and again. Why? Because life is all about analyzing yourself. Once you analyze yourself, what you are doing, what you wanted to do, what you're supposed to do in order to get into the destination where you wanted to go, you need to ask these questions. If I ask all these people are participating in this session, maybe few people may be having an answer for these questions. Majority of the people, I would say 97% of the people may not be asking these questions. It doesn't mean that they don't want anything, but unconsciously they don't practice the system of asking questions and analyzing. That's why you can see in the world, 97% people are not so successful. Only 2 to 3% people are very, very successful. Ladies and gentlemen, what I want to tell you is that ask these questions, write it down somewhere. Every day you have to ask these questions. Asking these questions to yourself makes you aware of what you are doing, and it keeps you on the track and take you to the direction where you wanted to go. Now, coming to the leadership now, what is leadership? The leadership means leading the people. That is the textbook definition. The leadership perception has been changed from 1940s, 50s, 60s, 70s to now, and it may change further behind this time what we are today. So in these times to come, and during the past few decades, has the leadership definition changed? Absolutely no. What has changed is that the practices and methods what we follow with the time, but the leadership fundamental definition is same. If you go to any management book, if you go to any philosophical book, if you go to any religious book, the leadership fundamentals are same since many years. What has changed is the approach with the change of time. Now the question is, what is the leadership? The leadership once upon a time used to look at leading the people and taking forward. But with the contemporary world, the leadership means not only leading the people, and at the same time, you have to follow the people also whenever required. At the same time, you should be among the people also. That means it's the front, back, and middle. That means you are taking people along, sometimes in the front, sometimes following them, sometimes among with them. That is the leadership. That is the quality what the contemporary millennials may be expecting in coming days. Now, taking this forward, who is leader? The leader should be having few fundamental qualities and which are very essential for the decade to come. You can see in the slide, I have summarized in 3 parts. The leader is the one who should stand with you when the crises are there. The crisis creates conflicts. The crisis creates fears. The crisis creates confusion. And that is the time the leader should be with the team. This is not only applies to the management philosophy of industries, maybe corporates. It starts from your home. It starts from your class. It starts from your university or colleges or institutions. It starts everywhere in the society. The leader could be from your family as a head of the family. The leader could be from your institution as a teacher. The leader could be from your community, maybe the leader from the political system. The leader should be with you while when the crises are there. The crises are going on. The leader should be with you, and he has to take you out of this crisis along with team. Then he will be called as leader. The second quality what leader is to exercise is appreciation. Now the millennials and next generation people wants more appreciation and recognition than monetary benefits. The leader should be appreciative about his team members, their efforts. Our small achievements, maybe the leader should appreciate people, and leader should give due recognition to the efforts of the team members and individual members, and leaders should be appreciative about their family members, their associates, and the people in and around whomsoever is that. If you don't do appreciation, the best efforts which are coming from the individual and in turn as a team will not be sustainable for the long duration. Being a leader, you should first thing you should learn is try to appreciate everything along with you and in and around you. If you see between the appreciation and crisis, there is a word called S. You can see there S. That S stands for strategic. The leader who thinks strategically to maintain the teams, to give the results, to reach to the position where the team wants to grow, he will strategically apply his all attributes, the all qualities to keep the team together. That is a strategic. This part comes under the strategic. Between crisis and appreciation, appreciating and meeting, be with the people, it is a strategic approach of the leadership. Now the third one is emotional. Now you might be thinking about this one. What is the relationship with the leadership and the emotional? You might have heard about the nowadays trend about IQ and EQ. The IQ is definitely required to be there in an organization, in an institute, or maybe in a corporate. But to sustain there, to be successful there, to lead the teams and take it to the next generation and next generation, the people should be intelligent enough emotionally. That is called intelligent quotient emotional, or you could call it a emotional intelligence. In a corporate scenario, your IQ plays around 20-25%, 75% is EQ, emotional quotient plays a role. You should be emotional about the people. You should know about yourself and the people with you and understand them. Put yourself into their position, which is called empathy. If you have emotional connect with the people, understand their point of view, then you will be more successful than anybody else. I would say there is a survey in the world, the top CEOs in the world or CFOs in the world are the people who has got a high emotional quotient in the range of more than 100 or something like that. If you don't have, so that means the IQ plays a role to stay there and enter into there. EQ plays a place to sustain and lead the teams. So that is called the emotional connect with the people. If you see the connect between the crisis and emotional, that is G, evolutionary. The leader should, the leader who has got evolutionary leader, he evolves the people. Be always with the people in crisis and understand their problem in normal conditions as well as in troublesome conditions, and he evolves the people, he develops the people, he takes the people along with the team. That is called the evolutionary. And then between appreciation and emotional, there is a word called V, visionary. The visionary leader always emotionally intelligent, emotionally connect with the people, and he always appreciative for the work what people carries out. That is called the vision. If you appreciate, emotionally connect with them, the people will be with you loyally for a long duration of time. Even if you have a troublesome time, they will be intact with you. So, having said all these three qualities, the contemporary leaders for the next generation should have all these three qualities with all those strategic, evolutionary, and visionary qualities. And at the same time, you can see at the center, there is a word called C. That is a character. That relates to the integrity. Having all qualities, if you have a character which is acceptable, which is as per the book, then your integrity with all the people will be maintained. Then this completes a desired qualities of a future leader, a future leadership. So this is very, very, although it looks very simple, and this is very, very important uh, parameter to understand who is the leader. The leader should have all these qualities. Now, the integrated approach will be like this. As I discussed, there are four qualities. You should have a technical knowledge. Technical, I would say, when I say technical means your domain knowledge. You should have a skill, talent, and abilities to perform your job. That is anyhow is required as a leader. And then second thing is the adaptive. This is again a behavioral factor. Adaptive means you should be competent enough to adapt to the situations and conditions which changes dynamically day in day out. And you should be emotionally connected with the people we discussed a little while ago, and you should be influential. You should influence the people. Why should people follow you? Why should people listen to you and do something for you and your team? Because you should be influential, you should influence them and make them aware why should we do it. These are the technical and adaptive. Then the last two are inner and outer qualities. Inner is intrinsic. That is your character, your integrity. When you have this integrity and character, the authenticity automatically comes. Authenticity means not using the power. Authenticity is to take good decisions, take right decisions, to put forward the rewards to the people, and make the prepare the people for the taking the higher responsibilities and making the down the line leadership. That is called authenticity. The authenticity word generally will be misused by the people, but that is not there. That is the intrinsic, that is inside you. These things will be revealed by your actions and your results. The next one is the outer one. By virtue of all these three, you will get what you get is the results. You will perform well. Your bottom line, top lines will be reveals your overall leadership qualities. At the same time, you can lead teams to a greater heights. So these are the integrated approach. One should have this domain knowledge. That could be anything that you may be from background of commerce. You may be background of some arts. Maybe from the engineering sciences. Maybe from the medical sciences. That doesn't matter. You need to have the talent, skill, and knowledge. Now coming to the other attributes, having said all these things, people should see three things in you. Then only you will be treated as a good leader or a great leader. One first thing is that you should have a consistency. Without consistency, nobody can lead teams. No, even individual also cannot perform their tasks to the mark. The consistency, that means you should do the same thing. If at all you have to do again and again, you should have to do it in the same fashion. The consistency in your behavior, consistency in handling the activities, consistency in handling the people, consistency in handling the customers, consistency in handling in the developing the products and market and increasing the market value. All the entire gamut of this whole management philosophy resolves around the consistency of the leader. That people can see your consistency easily, then they admire you. The first is the consistency, the second one is the predictability. Once you have a consistency, people get to know with a given problem, My leader will do like this. My leader will always perform like this. And they predict what you are expecting from them. They can predict what kind of direction he will give. They can predict why he is saying this one. Sometimes the leaders are not explicitly expressed. Implicitly, sometimes they give some indications. You can understand by, you can predict him what he is saying. The predictability of a leader is very important. You should predict the people. At the same time, people also should predict you, okay, my leader will behave like this. The predictability is the second quality. The third one is the persistency. Doing the same thing again and again, continuously without break. That is called the persistency. If you have all those things, consistency, predictability, and persistency, you will be treated as a very good leader now in coming days also. Ma'am, can I ask, I request you to unmute the people so that I have to ask three questions to them.
Sure, so you can just ask the question, and the students will raise hand, those who want to answer. So then one by one we can ask them to unmute. If everybody
Yeah.
unmutes at the
So
same
the
time, we'll
first
have a
question is
chaos.
that, so sometimes use the word the great leaders. The great leaders means the people whomsoever has got the qualities what we had discussed a little while ago will be treated as a great leaders. But here is the question: out of all those things, what admires you to follow him? That is the basic fundamental thing. So can anybody can answer what makes you admire him or her? Can anybody can answer this question? Madam, you take charge and ask somebody to answer this question.
Sure, sir. Guys, raise your hands. Those who want to answer this question.
Yeah, anybody can freely
Yes.
discuss.
Yeah, Ahina.
Yes, ma'am, please continue. What makes you
Yes,
admire
sir.
somebody to,
Very good afternoon to you, sir.
yeah, very good afternoon, please.
Sir, the one thing that attracts me is dedication the leader is giving towards their co-partners.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful, fantastic. Anything else you wanted to add?
Astha, I think you also had raised your hand. What would you like to add here?
Hello, Nupu ma'am. It's Alvin here. Can I add something?
Yeah, yeah, please,
Yes,
please.
Alvin, go ahead.
Yeah. So for me, it's the personality of the leader. That's what attracts me the most, sir.
Okay, so could you please elaborate any little bit about the personality means? Is it a physical personality or a mental personality?
So I'll say both, sir. Just like a leader has to be dynamic. Like
Okay, that
they
means
they
you would
have to
say
lead from front.
charismatic
Yeah.
leadership. What you will say,
Yeah.
right? When you say about
Yes, sir.
charismatic leadership is a pleasantly looking at the same time take the things in the right way, right?
Exactly, sir.
Very fantastic, fantastic. So, right. So the next question is that why would you want to join him or her? First thing is what I said is admire. Second thing is you wanted to join. So once you join a charismatic leader, maybe dynamic leader, maybe the leader who is a role model for some people, people wants to join them, admire them. Then why would you wanted to join? Once you join the team, you have to do something with the team. So what is that compels you to join them? Admiring is a different thing, and being a part of the team is a different thing. Anybody can say why you wanted to join if you have those qualities what we discussed little while ago. I request all students to participate. No matter, nothing is right, nothing is wrong. You express yourself freely.
Yes, Asti, go ahead.
Yes, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Sir, I would like to join that leader just because to learn many new things and to build a nice personality
Mm-hmm.
and to showcase our talent also.
Wonderful, wonderful, fantastic. Okay. Anybody else? One more we can take. Can anybody can add more?
Yes, Swapnil.
No, good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Sir, I would like to join that leader because I can show my good personality and how I can achieve the targets and how I can work properly. So I
Yeah.
want to expose myself.
Yeah,
That's
that's
all.
fantastic. But the word what I'm looking was is the expose yourself. That means that tells you that how capable you are and how you can cope up with the great leaders. Awesome. Very good. Third one, how do you review yourself as an emerging leader? Anybody can answer. How do you yourself an emerging, being an MBA student with a institute which has got a good reputation in our western part of India? So we definitely expect good quality leadership from you. So what you feel that you will become an emerging leader? Anybody can add elaborate on this?
Yes, anybody would like to answer this question?
Hello, please come on. Anybody can answer this question. So if
Yes, Anjali, why don't you try? Anjali?
Yes, ma'am. Very good afternoon.
good afternoon, yeah, please,
Good afternoon.
Sir, as a MBA pursuant,
yeah, hello,
yes, sir. As an
yes,
MBA
please.
pursuant, I'm seeing myself as a leader, as a growing leader, I would say rather, leader,
Yeah,
because today I'm at a learner stage. I'm learning each and every day. I'm learning. I'm exploring my field, the whole new market. So at current stage, I see myself as a learner leader, and in future I'll be a growing leader where I will be growing in within myself and the people surrounded by me. So that's something my point of view.
yeah. So if I summarize this one, this is what you believe in yourself, and you feel confident that with your learnings and from your institution and then the society and surroundings, you feel that you are confident that you can handle the things more effectively, isn't it?
Exactly, sir. Because I know somewhere down the line that I'm having that ability, and I can prove that ability by getting myself into the real market and proving
That's
each day with every new challenges. So
that's
that's something my
that's
point of
called
view.
the self. Yeah, please. Yeah, yeah. That's called the
Yes,
self.
Chaya would.
Yeah. Anybody else?
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Please.
Yeah, so I see as in, as I'm on basically on a learner stage, but I see as an emerging leader, but because first of all, being an emerging leader, you have to create a connect with the co-workers so
Mm-hmm.
that they listen you. So
Mm-hmm.
I believe in myself that I can create that connect, I can create that bond,
Mm-hmm.
so that co-worker believes us and follow us. And basically we have to see at very dynamic part, as a leader we have to see at very small dynamic part where uh, you know um, where a uh, good brainstorming can be happen, so that work can be put in the action. So I see that I am that uh, I am that connect creator or bond creator for that. And as that part I see an emerging leader myself in the market.
Okay. Okay. Very nice. Nicely expressed. So, see, that's great. See, whatever I heard from all the three, see, everybody is a leader. irrespective of MBA or non-MBA, because you might have learned many things. The first and foremost thing is that everybody is leader. Why? Because you yourself manage yourself. When I talk about yourself, means you manage your, what you can say, your personal things. You manage your institute, you manage your curriculum, you manage your parents, you manage your all those activities whichever is to be done outside this institution. That means you, once you are managing the things, means you have got all those qualities within you. The only thing what is required is that little bit of learning and coaching and taking it forward. Okay, nice, very nice. Thank you very much. Now, coming to the situation leadership, as we discussed, what is the situation leadership? The leadership is anyhow is there. We have discussed. Situation leadership means how leaderships will change with the person to person. There are many theories, there are many classifications about the style of leaderships. But if you talk about basic styles of leadership, which is called a situation leadership, we will discuss about this one. Basically, there are two competencies comes into picture. One is the competency and the motivation. If you classify this one is further into two categories: low competency, high competency, and high motivation or commitment, or low motivation or commitment. If you make it as a quadrant system, it will be divided into four quadrants, right? So if you see, the first one is the high motivation or commitment, the top one. The next one is the high competency towards the right one, and the bottom low one is the low motivation or commitment, and the extreme left one is the low competency. If there are four kinds of leadership qualities we have here. Let us see how it goes. The situational leadership means if you have a situation, see, in the corporate world or industrial world or in a society, you will have always the situations which are dynamic in nature. The situation may not be the same today and tomorrow. The same situation, same conditions may create another situation. So the situation demands a task to be performed. When you are performing a task, you will have a action. When you are performing an action, that action results into the action gives the results. That means the situation is there, then you act upon, and then you will have a results. In order to have those good results, you need to act in a proper manner, and your team has to take right, proper decisions. Let us see how it goes. The first one is that if a leader is there, he has highly competent, he has got a high competence level. He's very competitive, and competency is very, very high in his domain. And the second thing is that he is very highly motivated and committed leader. That's what everybody wants to work with. A leader with high competency, a leader with high motivation always allows his team members and delegates the powers to them and empowers them to handle the things more than they are able and capable. So he delegates and empowers and asks them to continue the work to do. This is what the next generation millennials wants to be. So this is the first quadrant. The leader who has got high competency level and high motivation and commitment level, he empowers the people, he empowers the team, delegates and asks them to individually perform. This is called the one kind of a situational leadership. The second one is the leader who has got high competency, low motivation and low commitment. This is very, very important. Please listen. High competency, very, very competitive in his domain, skill, knowledge, and talent, what we discussed. And low motivation and commitment. The commitment levels are very low. The motivation to carry out the tasks to be performed is low. That kind of leader, what he does generally, he appreciates, he praises, he listens, and he supports. Support in the sense, okay, you do it, wherever you want, I will be with you. Because the motivation level is less. He will be supportive definitely, but he may not empower you, delegate the powers completely. This is a one kind of a leadership quality. The third one is the leader has got a low competency level and low motivation and commitment. Then this kind of a leadership, they will be always directive. They always tries to control you. They always give instructions to do. They will not empower you. This is the leadership which is very, very dangerous leadership. They will not allow you to do independently anything. They will control always you. They will criticize, control, and correct you always because he has got a low competency and low motivation. That makes that leader a insecure leader, the fearful leader. The fearful leader means is always in insecurity that these one of these guys of our team may get into my shoes in future. So what will happen is that the fearfulness controls the team. This is one of the situation leadership which nobody wants to. Nobody wants to work under the leadership of this kind of leadership. The next one is high motivation level and low competency. He is highly motivated because of various reasons. His competency levels are low, but he always tries to team, coach the team members, coach the individuals. So his intentions are here clear, but his abilities are less. But his motivation level is high. He always tries to support the team. If you see the coaching and supporting, the diagonal leadership are sometimes okay, but in industry, if you see the empowered and delegated leadership and directive leadership, these are, you can say, 180-degree opposite to each other. In a corporate context, you will find the first coordinate, that is empowered and delegate leadership, will very few percent, let us say 15 to 20% people. And the majority of, let us say 60 to 70 leadership will be quadrant 4 and 2, that is coaching and support, and the directive leadership also is there in the corporate world or maybe in industries. The directive leadership also is there. So these are the different kind of a situational leadership. If you talk about futuristic leadership, the coordinate one, that is the empowering delegating leadership, is the most desirable leadership one need to have. Being aspiring leaders, you guys should have these two qualities. That's why what has been said is that when you are in an institution or in a business school, what is essential is that try to acquire more competencies. The talent is one thing which is there with you, but the thing is that the knowledge and skill has to be acquired. That is to be acquired to your teachers, that is to the literature, that is to the trainings, that is to the sessions, that is to many other things. If you acquire high competency, what will happen is that your insecurity levels will be reduced during your tenure of leadership. And of course, high commitment and motivation, you have to develop and nurture that one throughout your career. If you develop these two things, you will be in a quadrant one leader. Never try to have that quadrant three directive leadership that always controls. So here you can see you should avoid these three things. Don't criticize people. I am not saying that he accept everything. Don't criticize people always. And second thing is that don't try to correct always and every day. And then control. Don't try to control the people. If you're using this criticize, control, correct and control methodology, that is a deadly cease, then you will not be sustained your leadership, your position for so long, because the next generation people don't like these things. You will have to give them a freedom. Instead of criticizing, coach them. Instead of correcting them, empower them to do better things. And then instead of controlling, give a power, guide them, handhold them, let them do the work better. So avoid these trees in your leadership grooming, and try to avoid these things in your applications also. Now, there are few things. See, leadership versus management. What you can say, leader versus manager, you can say. Some people grow up in a position in hierarchy, but they never become a leader. Some people grow up with the position, they learn, they try to accommodate everything as per the philosophical management books. So there is a distinct difference between managing people and leading people. If you see, you can read. I will take up one or two out of these. The first thing is that the manager always tries to manage administrate everything. There is something is written in the book I have to follow. That's it, nothing else. Whereas the leaders follow the same thing with the innovative manner. What else we can do? How we can add value to the present activities, our present project, our present situation, and then managers always ask how and how you are going to do, when you are going to do. That's it. Whereas the leader try to focus and ask what to do and why to do. What are you doing and why are you doing? So these are the objective. What is your objective and what you are doing, how you do that one to reach your destination. So if you see this one, there are many other things also. If you see another one is that the this one, emulate the classic good soldier. He always follow as a good soldier manager, whereas the leaders always have their own personality. They don't follow anybody. They create their own path and try to get into the destination. So even if the manager skills are required when you are in a very junior level, when you are assigned a task, you have to perform the task. This manager qualities may be relevant. Once you move up into the ladder, once you are directly getting into leadership position, if you try to manage people with these attributes, you will not be successful. The leaders' qualities will be distinct. They always try to innovate. They always question the status quo. They challenge the situations and they take the team together and they don't copy anybody. They do have their own way of doing the things and getting the things. If you see here, we got a representative of left hand side and right hand side. The left hand side is the managing people, and right hand side is the leading the people. If you take a few things here, and from the bottom you can say what this people manager tries to control the people, whereas the leader tries to empower the people. And here you can say this fellow always tries to avoid the conflicts, managers, whereas leaders try to use those conflicts. Try to use those conflicts means they try to use those conflicts to understand the point of view of the people and make the both the parties to understand each other, amicably settle it. That is called the using the conflicts. In this process, they understand. Here, the emotional quotient comes into picture. Like you can see the first one is the manager always tries to control, whereas leaders always tries to develop the people. So you need to understand, being a leader, what should be the situation. You don't never try to manage the things. If you are managing things, you may be successful for time being. You may be successful for 1 week, 2 weeks, maybe one month or 1 year, depending upon the tenure of the project. But in a long duration, you will not sustain those behavior, and you will collapse. So we need to have those leadership qualities. You have to lead the people with these attributes. So in order to be a great leader, as few students shared their opinions and their thoughts. So to be a great leader, you are emerging leaders and learning and aspiring many things. In order to become a great leader in future, in coming decade, first thing is that you need to change yourself. You need to change. The change is required in your behavior. Change is required in your thought process. Change is required in how you are handling the things. Change is required how you are dealing with your colleagues, how you are dealing with your seniors, how you are dealing with your professors, how you are dealing with your family. Everything, each and everything, what is required to be a good leader, you have to practice. If you don't have that one, try to change intentionally. So what happens is that when you wanted to change, you have to learn many things. When you want to learn many things, and want to implement those things, there always will be a resistance. And the resistance is the biggest danger for something to kill. If you are a MBA student, tomorrow you're going to a corporate, let us say, into a banking sector, wherein you wanted to implement some new things, wherein the older people are there, you being a anger blood, you wanted to implement something. These, you learned many things you wanted to implement, but the people with you always resist that one, always resist, and that will lead to a greater catastrophe. If you can see here, the fishes which are in orange color, that goes in opposite direction. You are going in one direction, they will try to go in another direction. The change is the biggest resistant thing in the corporate and leadership world. So now the top one is that you have to align people in your direction. But in order to change the people, you need to be a changed personality. So in order to do so, so challenge what challenges will come during the change. One first thing is that you should be knowledgeable enough and know-how or technology or whatever may be required in a particular position or particular industry. That is the first challenge. You need to know and you have to understand. Second thing is that you have to adapt to those situations, because when you want to change something, you will not have a ready-made solutions for anything, and you need to have some experimentation here and there, and at the same time it has to be get it done by the people who are there already there, who have got the experience. You have to convince them and get the things done. So this is not that easy. You can see the photograph here depicts that this is too tall task to push that stone upwards. That much of resistance comes from that one. In order to tackle these things, you should be mentally ready for that. You should be mentally tough in terms of your knowledge, in terms of your ability to think, in terms of facing the failures and challenges. If you are having all those things together, you can incorporate those change in the corporate world or in job profile. So now, so how these leaders emerge? See, leaders, there are different kind of leaders what we discussed. How these leaders emerge? See, I have listed here. The first thing is the knowledge base. Some people always become a leader because of their knowledge. This is mostly applicable to the academic institutes, maybe universities, business schools. The people who have got good knowledge about their domain and their PhDs and all those things, they will become into the leadership position in that institute and they will carry out. And second thing is proven accomplishments. If somebody is working in an industry, he has got a very proven track record of achieving the results, then they will become a leaders. And then position or appointment. Some positions, leadership positions, and they may or may not be as good leaders as we expect, but nevertheless we cannot doubt some people are born leaders, what we can say, because of their family background and all those things. You can say one of the if you talk about the business houses, the family business houses in India and abroad, these people are born in the families wherein the business is there. They are into the business right from their childhood, and then and next leadership comes from personal and inspirational leadership. So the inspirational people, the inspirational people, those people also get into the leadership position. Then the servant leadership. Some became leaders because of they are loyal to somebody. They are loyal to somebody and they become a leaders. That is another category of leadership. And next one is reluctant leadership. Some people become leaders because forcefully they will become leader because of some external pressures and forces. But there are different kinds of leadership is there, but this determines how these leaders work with us, how these leaders handle with us. That is depending upon their background. So we needn't worry about that one. So if you are if you have a good leadership qualities, if you have those abilities, you can handle and tackle them also. If at all, if you have a leadership like a quadrant 3 leadership, You need not worry about all these things, but basic classification of emerging leaders are these. So now, what the pitfalls of leadership is that, so some of the unsaid things about the leadership. So leadership always confusing titles and with great responsibility, all those things. This is always a confusing. Need not bother about that one. And some undergrounded skill sets are pitfalls of leadership. Some people know about their competencies or incompetencies also. Some leaders may not know about their competence and competencies. So this is always a debatable. If the leader knows that he is not competent enough to handle the things, and he tries to improve himself. If he doesn't know, then it's a fate accomplished for him, and the teams will find out their own way. And some leadership not in isolation. This is one of the pitfalls. Some people runs the leadership as is in isolation, taking the decisions with one or two people, and the autocracy will be prevailing here. And then there are many things are there pitfalls of leadership. We are not going to get into the details now. What we focus is that habits of leadership. Habits of leadership mean what a good leader should have a habit of proactive. So you should be proactive always with the people. You should not be negative with the people. First, look at the things, act accordingly. Next one is begin with the end in mind. The good leaders or great leaders always take decisions not instantaneously. Even if it's instantaneously, they will keep in the mind of the end results. What would be the end result of this decision? So whenever you take a decision, try to have the end result in mind. If you have end results in mind, you always try to take those decisions judiciously. Next is the put the first things first. Whatever is to be done on priority, you should do it on priority. Don't take 10th priority or 15th priority thing in first and try to do that thing, then it will not work. And then always try to have win-win situation. Win-win situation means you should think about the other party in front of you. That party could be your team, that party could be your competitor, that party could be anybody giving in a given situation. And then try to understand first and then try to understand others. That is the card. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. So try to understand first what is the situation, listen them, hear them, understand, and then try to see the situation how it is, and then accordingly you can take the decisions. And synergize yourself. Try to synergize with your team commitments, your organizational commitments of your society, commitment of your nation, whatever maybe, whichever level you are. Try to synergize with the umbrella in which you are working in the boundary where you are working. Synergize with the outcome and bottom line of the organization. If you don't synergize, you take the decisions in isolation, then that is not a great leadership to move forward and give the results. And sharpen the sharp. You should always be very sharp. Very, very sharp. Sharp means you should be sharp enough to grab the things. You should be sharp enough to listen to people. You should be sharp enough to understand what is going on. You should be sharp enough to resolve the conflicts in a amicable manner, and you should be sharp enough to deliver the things. So these are the few habits of leaders. Proactive, always try to be proactive, and results in mind. Put the first things first. Always win-win and synergize. Now, real leaders, what they do is that they, as I said, they hear, listen you, they challenge themselves. They never will be happy with themselves. If something is there, accomplished, they will put more harder and tougher task for them. They challenge themselves. They do follow others. As I said in the beginning of my talk, the leadership is not always leading the people. Listen carefully. I love this one. Sometimes you need to follow also. You should follow your team members also. That is the greatest ability to do as a great leader, to build the great organizations and great nation. You need to follow the people also. And then the great leaders always try to solve the big problems. Some leaders are always busy in secondary activities. That doesn't mean value anything to people or organization. They are always busy. You can call it as a time killer leadership. But the great leaders always try to solve the big problems. And then they don't whine, they don't criticize, they don't blame people for the something unaccomplished. And then they never indulge into the egos. Ego is the biggest threat for the great leadership and ordinary leadership. The leader with the good qualities with a bad, great ego will be an ordinary leader. A ordinary leader with a no ego, with a commitment will be a great leader. So great leaders never indulge into their egos, and then they do what is matter. They don't do unnecessary tasks, unnecessary things, and then they will be they are always effective, and they may or may not efficient. There are two things, efficient and effective, but great leaders are always effective. The efficiency will come from their team, and then their vision inspires the other. The biggest quality of a great leader is the vision. If you don't have a vision for the people, you don't have the vision for the organization, you don't have the vision for yourself, and then how would you inspire your people? So you need to be a visionary, you need to have a greater vision for yourself as well as for your team and as well as for your members in and around you, then only you will be successful. So these are some of the behavioral qualities of a great leaders. And then some practices what you need to do as a great leader in coming decade is that being a leader, you need to create a culture. You need to create a climate or environment in your organization, or maybe in your team. You create a culture of doing the good things. Create an environment wherein people can perform their tasks peacefully, best of their abilities to get the results. If you don't create the environment, then people will not be at their best. They will not deliver their best, and they will be in a different platform. And then the second thing is that you need to develop your policies, structures, and practices. Listen carefully. Policies, structures, and practices. The policy of the company, maybe policy of the department, the policy of your team, how to handle that particular customers, maybe particular clients, maybe particular product, and you need to have a structure in place. Who will do what, and when, and then practices. The practices means the frontline execution of the things. How do you execute? That is called, we call in the industry as a SOP, standard operating procedures. These are called the practices. And then at the third one is the leader should establish a partnership. When I call partnership, it's not only a partnership with the third party or customers, the partnership with your team, the partnership with your organizational goals, partnership with your mission of this your company, partnership with your own goal, partnership with the society. At the end, whatever you do, that will reflect in the growth of the nation. So the partnership should be created and coordinated among the teams. These are the three best qualities you need to have, and you should ensure that as a good leader, you should ensure that the knowledge and skill levels of the people should be at par with the required to perform that particular task or assignment or project. If you have a people who doesn't have a skills required or a knowledge required, then you will not be able to take them forward. You may have a situation wherein people have less knowledge, then you have to ensure that they should be trained, they should acquire the knowledge and skill to perform the task, and then you should have the professional standards, laws and regulations within place. I am pretty sure you might have studied one of the in one of your subjects, all those things, and then you need to have a collaboration with the stakeholders. Everybody is a stakeholder here. You, your team, individuals, your organization, everybody is a stakeholder here. You have to collaborate with the stakeholders and listen and meet to the expectations of the stakeholders. And then you have to not only resolve the conflicts, you have to resolve the cultural drifts also. Why this cultural drift has come very important now is that is not important in earlier, maybe 20, 30 years back. The cultural drift is very, very important because of the globalization, different people from different countries, because of this digital transformation, people are interacting across the globe through the media. So the cultural drift is very, very important to take care. If you don't take that cultural drift, and because the nationalities are different, people thinking is different, their approaches are different, there will be always the drifts. You have to take care of those drifts also, and at the end, you need to have a vision. If you don't have the vision for the everything is all around two things: the vision and mission of yours as a great leader. So now these are all the things you might have read about, you heard about, you may be practicing those things, but the challenge comes now. What we are just going to discuss: how these millennials are different. Millennials are different because this next generation employees. You may be one of those millennials. Your thinking is totally different from the generation which is there 5 decades back, 3 decades back, maybe 2 decades back. So these people are totally different. You may have to handle your age group people as well as the people who are there since last 10, 20 years, and you need to handle people who are coming next to you. So this is very important. That's where this future leadership comes into picture. Next generation challenges are different ages, as I discussed now, geographically dispersed. Globally, people are there. You have to work with them, and uneven skill distribution. Somebody have a higher skill, somebody have a lower skill, somebody have skills which which are 50-50. You have to manage with them, and then more varied aspirations. The fourth one is very, very important. If you have an employee who has to work, it doesn't mean he will be having the same aspirations as the older generation people. If you talk about the generations, we can classify as a 5 generations. The first generation is a silent generation. Second one is a baby boomers. A third one is the generation next, and next one is the millennials, and the latest generation is the generation Z. Now let us talk about the silent generation. These are the people who were born in 30s and 40s, old people who are in the organization, maybe in the age group of 65, 70. They are still with the organization. They don't know about the computer era, and they are not in sync with the recent developments, and they have seen the economic downs and ups and downfalls and coming backs in their life, and of course they are hardworking. So what they expect from the work life or job life, they focus on the healthcare, and they mostly look at the retirement benefits. Their main focus will be like that, and their retirement benefits means the pension, you can say, and they look for the flexible work policies. Flexible work policies means they wanted to have few hours working and then they go back and something like, because of the old people. These people are sitting in the organization, in some of the organizations still. They are hardworking. They don't know about the digital revolution. They don't know about the industry 4.0. They don't know about the loyalty 4.0. They may know how to handle the clients, but the evolving technology they don't know. They are sitting in the system. These are the very old people. You may have to tackle with them also. That is the one of the challenge, because as I said, the change is very, very resistive one. Changing these people and aligning them to your vision is very, very difficult. The second one is the baby boomers. The baby boomers are the people who may be born between the Second World War and 1960s. These people being in the organization, they are very work alcoholic. The ethics are good. They tend to work hard, and they prefer to have face-to-face meeting. They are not into the computer era, and they didn't grow up in computer era, so they prefer to have everything in person and manual and handwritten and hard copies and all those things. This is the generation which is about to retire. Maybe very soon they are going to retire. This generation, what they want is the flexible work again, and they consider to stay long because with the organization, because they look at the people silent generation. Somebody who is there in the organization working 60, 70 years in the organization. I am talking about Indian context. So, and these guys having a 55, 60 years age, he also aspired to be there longer for the organization. And then they prefer to have work from home and of course healthcare and retirement benefits. So this is the one generation, again a challenging generation for you. The next one is the generation X. This is the most complicated and most suffered generation. These people are born between 1965 to 1980, 85. These people are between the baby boomers and millennials. These people born in the era of computer, but not in the industry 4 revolution. So these people generally educated than the earlier generation. They wanted to work hard. They put more things into that. They are between the computer era and non-computer era, and they wanted to have more healthcare coverages in the industry and flexible working times, work-life balance, and of course they do prefer to have the stock options to be a part of the organization, and of course they wanted to have some loans and loan incentives for their house, car, and many things. So this is the generation X. Now the next comes is the millennials. This is one of the younger generation. You can say in the industry or corporate or wherever. The age is between 18 to 35 years old. They call job is calling. That means they don't bother about the job. They come, join. If they enjoy the job, they stay with you. If they don't enjoy, they will go in a day or two. Now, unlike in other generation, you start working with the company, work for the 30 or 40 years in the same company, get retired with a golden watch. But whereas these millennials, they come, they join you, they enjoy, and they feel better for the work in that place. They will stay, otherwise they will leave immediately. It's very difficult to retain millennials because of this kind of approach, and they are loyal to the community. Their elder generation used to be loyal to the organization. What these people say is that they are loyal to the community means they take a holistic approach. Whatever you do in the organization, you may be doing for the organization, but in turn, that the impact of that one should not affect the community as a whole. This is a very good approach. There, they are loyal to the community. They take care of the community. They wanted to contribute to the community, and they value they value the contributions. That means they come, they perform. If somebody values their contributions, then they will be delighted. They want appreciation. What I said earlier, they want recognition. If you don't do that, then they may like to leave the organization, and they will be selfless and they are rational. They are not conventional. So these are the very good attributes to the millennials, and of course, competent function. They always expect to give a competent function to handle. Unlike when you join as an MBA, after completion of MBA management training in an organization, they will put you 2 years they are giving some work and to learn, and then they will give the responsibilities. Nowadays generation, they are competent enough in the era of computer and communication. They wanted to have the competent functions with an independent responsibility. They do perform well. If you don't care them, they will leave the organization. They don't care about your job. They don't care about your packages. And this is the talented generation. We should take care of that. In order to take care of this generation and the older generation, the conventional leadership has to change their behavior and adapt the change and cope up with this new trends of developments. Then only this organization can sustain with these millennials. Then these people expect work-life balance. They want a career development program. They want clear career development program as soon as join the organization. If you don't show the career path to them, they will not stay with you. And then, of course, they also look for the many benefits from the organization. Then the next generation comes generation Z. That is the latest generation. Maybe few of you are into this category. Maybe in a couple of months' time, you may get into the job life where they are belongs to 80 to 25 years old. And here the basic difference between the millennials and generation Z is the only basic difference is the work is a task, short-term assignment for them. Unlike millennials, these guys wants to stay there for some time in the job, learn few things, acquire the knowledge and skill, and they wanted to go for further into the higher paid jobs or maybe higher studies. That's why they treat job as a short-term assignment. If you want to retain them for the longer duration, then you need to have a different kind of approach with them. And then they also will be loyal to community, selfless and rational, and competent function. But the basic difference between the millennials and Generation X is the work philosophy. They feel that work is a calling. These guys call it a work is a short term. And here they want to have a flexible working times. And here the basic difference is they look for assistance with the student debt. They wanted to be with you if you are considering him for the higher studies with some financial help under that, then they may stay with you after that also. And you can see in many organizations the philosophy has changed. They give opportunities for the younger generation to go for higher studies at the partial expenses reimbursed by the company, and they look for the competitive salaries and incentives. Of course, they wanted to have those training sessions to learn. So these are the five generations are there in a workplace. Now you are being a leader, maybe aspiring leader, you have to handle all those five. All those five generations have different philosophies of taking job and executing the things and believing the execution of the work in a computer era and manually or through the digital media, or they have got different expectation for the companies. So now you are there to meet all those expectations. That is the challenge for you, which will be coming very soon. So basically, when you have this kind of a situation, three types of behaviors are very important to cope up with these types of generation gap. So what are those three? You can see here three types of behaviors you have to adapt. This, the philosophy is called the 3E principle. The 3E principle says eroding, enduring, and emerging. You have to register this 3E principle. This will help you for the long duration in your career for next 30-40 years. The first one is the eroding. See, in earlier generations, maybe 15 years, 20 years down the line, some of the methods, some of the practices, if you deviate, that treated to be very bad. Now with the change of time, change of aspirations of the employee, change of aspirations of the leadership, change of competitiveness in the market and marketplace, you have to erode some of the practices which proven to be good. You have to erode those practices. That depends, which are those practices, that depends on the case to case, organization to organization. You should, being a leader, you should be willing to erode some conventional, traditional practices to be eroded. For example, here if you talk about those things, hierarchy used to be a biggest thing in 80s and 90s. In order to get some incentive, you have to go through 20 people to get sanctioned. And you have to get a sanction for 20 people in order to execute a small activity. You have to get a sanction from 20 people in order to fly from Mumbai to Chennai. So that is called hierarchy. The hierarchical influence should be completely dismantled and take decision based and flat organizations are very important. What I meant to say, the first is erode the existing bold, conventional, traditional practices which will become a hindrance for the generations which are working there in the workplace. That those I have given one example, there may be thousand examples like that. You have to selectively erode those things. That is the thing which has to be done for the next generation. The next one is enduring. See, some practices, some policies and philosophies cannot be removed. We have to sustain those things, endure those things, good practices. And for example, I would say, for example, ethics, trust, integrity, faith, behavior. These are all those things you cannot change, but you can apply in a different fashion, but you have to endure these things. The second is enduring the long lasting leadership philosophies. For as I said, this trust, integrity, and next one is the emerging. So once you are eroding some traditional bad practices, maybe traditional old practices, some practices you should retain, and you have to align these two practices, guys, like eroding and enduring, with the emerging trends. If you are not in sync with the emerging trends of science and technology and the digital transformation, you will not sustain your business. You will not take the teams along because the expectations of the customers are going up. The expectations of the management is going up. The expectations of your people are going up. So, in order to meet those expectations with a reasonable time and money, you need to be with the change of the technological transformation up to the extent possible in your organization. Like I would say, the digitalization, the industry 4.0, 4.0 in fact, where it is talking about big data, cloud computing, artificial intelligence, IoT, 3D printing, and many things have come into the picture. Earlier, what used to be done by the people in 10 days, these technologies are doing it in 2 hours or 3 hours. If you are still following the old technologies, you will not sustain your businesses. So remember, in order to meet those diversified new generation challenges like age difference, gender differences, global religious boundary differences, and then differences in skill sets and differences in and expectations of the millennials, we need to adopt as all those 3E principle. So, in order to manage what we discussed the 3E principle, but one 5-6 points here you can have a look at that one. Avoid stereotypes of behavior. You cannot have a flat behavior, flat type of conversation, maybe application with all the people. You should avoid the stereotype of approaches and be actively involved with the people. Use right people, right technique, and right approach and right communication with the different people. You have got all the 5 generations with you. You cannot use one kind of a technique with silent generation with the generation Z. You need to have a different technique, and then you cannot you avoid one size fit for all approach. You avoid the approach of single approach to all generation. These 3 and 4 are combined together, and of course, the very most important thing is the work-life balance. If you see, all those 5 generations are talking about the same thing. They wanted to have a flexible hours. They wanted to have work from home. They wanted to have flexible office hours. So work-life balance is very important. Now the next generation people are expecting to have the work-life balance in proper condition. And the foster the communication. Communicate well. Communicate well with the people. Communicate everything with fairly transparently. If you don't communicate properly, that element of doubt and faith will be always there. The faith cannot be built up. And of course, exercise the empathy. Put yourself into their shoes and take decisions. Now, with this, all those conditions, you may have all those qualities to handle those things. But how do you handle the external environment? External environment deals with customers, deals with the product. External environment is a customer. The customer is the person who pays for you, who pays for your organization, who take care of yourself. If the customer is not there, you will not be there. So, how do you manage this kind of environment? That is called the organizational environment. Now we are going to the broader way of looking into the business perspective for the next generation. In the next generation is that The volatility, the uncertainty and complexity and ambiguity. These are the four things plays a major role, and even today also playing major role. In coming years, it will be much more complicated than what it is today. This four volatility means the economic conditions are rapidly changing across the globe with this COVID-19, and something else will come later on, and the interest rates are going up, and changing the customer requirements. This everything became volatility means moving up and down. The interest rates are moving up and down. The customer requirements are going up, and the economy is not stable. Then the volatility is always there. Volatile. There is no certain thing for anything. So the financially you are not stable, and then uncertainty means the globalization has come up, and the boundaries come up with this digitalization and digital transformation. The boundaries become very narrow and far, very near. So with this globalization, the competition has gone up, the expectations have gone up, and the legislation and regulations of various countries have changed. With this condition, the uncertainty of producing products and selling to the customers or giving the services is very, very difficult. In that condition, the complexity is that the customer expectation has gone up because the innovation and technology at peak today. With, and the customer expect that take the advantage of the innovation and the research and apply to my product and give the benefits to me. So in that complexity has increased because of the innovation. Because you do produce a product today, tomorrow the product will be produced by somebody else with a great innovation at cheaper rate. That created a complexity. The product life cycle has become very less. Earlier it used to be 10 years, 5 years, 6 years. If you get into the market, the laptop models changes in overnight. The mobile model changes overnight. So everything is changing. Very complex situation outside. And then the last one is the ambiguity. The ambiguity because you have to handle with different generation people, and the baby boomers and the generation X and millennials are getting into the leadership positions. Are they equipped with all those qualities which are required to meet this all these things? The ambiguity is always there. The future leadership should cope up all these things. That is again an ambiguity which is staying there. With this volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity, you have to tackle all those things. In order to tackle all those things, you need to have a different kind of skill set. You need to have a high level of knowledge with the contemporary world. You need to be in sync with the technology, in sync with the innovation, in sync with the communication systems. So until and unless you have all those things, you cannot meet all those four challenges. Now, so how to handle these four challenges? The challenges are there. How to handle? There are ways and method. That's where the great leadership comes into picture. The future leadership comes into picture. You can handle to a leap. LEAP. Leap is the L is the liberal, P is exuberant, A is agility, and the partnership. Very simple, but it's not so easy to implement. It is easy to learn, and it is easy but difficult to execute. Whomsoever make it easy to execute, then he will be a successful leader, and his organization will be successful organization. Liberal means open to the all those ideas, open to discuss with people, take the ideas, opinions, accept some behaviors, incorporate, adapt, and train. Create an open atmosphere in your organization to take the ideas and transform the people's behavior. That is called liberal. And then exuberant. Exuberant is very, very important thing. Being a leader, you should be very, very energetic. People should see you as an energetic leader. One of our students has said, "Dynamic. I wanted to work with a dynamic leader." Why? People inspire with your energy, your passion. You should be passionate about your project. You should be passionate about your people, and your energy should be transformed to the down-talent people and in the organization. They take the influence from you. That is the exuberant. It is very simple. It is a behavioral one. You should practice. One can get it with practice. agility, and this involves organizational trainings, programs, and meeting the requirement of the people. If you people are there and you have to train them with the latest trends, send them to the trainings, make them equipped with the present trends. And if you think about the people's skill development, and automatically people will align with your present trends and product you can plan to make accordingly. And then the partnership. This is the era of partnership and collaboration. If you partner with the companies who has got a well established systems, and the companies with the who are working in innovation, R&D, and collaboration with the customers also sometimes help you. If you have a partnership with the collaborated companies or companies which are linked with your product and your product profile, being as a team, you can better perform. The era of standalone working has gone up. We have seen many good companies who have been working very well, delivering good and earning profits, has gone out of the scene in overnight because they are not in sync with the customers, they are not in sync with the suppliers, they are not in connection with the supply chain management. So it's always better to have a partnership. You can handle this VUCA through LEAP. So, as I said, you should be visionary, you should be strategic, your ethics should be at high level, that is, I said, the enduring, and the purposefulness, you should be very analytical and rational. Most of the millennials, Generation X and Generation Z, looking to the rationality of the companies. That comes from the analytics, pragmatism, agility, and communication. These all will lead to, I said, inspiration, challenging, and activate motivation in the people, activating engagement of the people, activate everything to synergize with you to meet your vision. Now, so then after having all these things, high performance, how this high performance organizations will work. Next coming 20 to 30 years, there will be two things. The pressure on the market to reduce the price, first thing, and the pressure on you to reduce the price, give the best quality at reduced time. That means you have to produce a product with a less price in less time with a good quality sustained for long duration of time in the performance. That means these three things are the key for the next 20 to 30 years. Less time, less price, long service life. So these are the three things for the key for the next 20 to 30 years. That means you have to optimize your processes, reduce the cost. You have to optimize everything to produce in a lesser time and at the same time greater quality. So in order to do that, being a leader, you should have an influence and impact on your people or on your followers. You should have a good emotional intelligence that we can discuss separately. That's a altogether a big topic to discuss. And of course, you should be aware of social intelligence also. You should know about your surroundings and surrounding people who are affecting or interacting with you. And you should coach the people, you should train the people, and you should be communicating people on and off frequently. You should not be autocratic in your approach. You should be always approachable. You should always communicate, build a trust, and take the organization towards the high performing organization. So these are some of the 5 pillars for the high performing organization that we have already discussed in the earlier slide. That leads to result based leadership. Note it down. This is RBL. This should be in your mind. That is the future leadership demand. Result based leadership. Whatever you do, you have to produce results. Do many things, don't produce results means you are a failure. Result based leadership is the demand for the next generation. In order to do that, what is important is The important factor here is you. In order to become a result-based leadership or result-based leader, you are the key as an individual. Forget about all those things now. Forget about your institute, forget about your background, forget about your future job and everything. Now concentrate on you. You are the most important person here to deliver that one. Now, I wanted to tell you here, I asked few questions when we are starting this session. Are you doing what you wanted to do? Are you doing what you can do? Are you doing something different or not? Few questions I asked you. Many people may not have answers, and you should have to find those answers. So, the life is all about having more, happiness, grace, empathy, and peace, not money. Money is a byproduct of all these things. Don't bother about that one. Ladies and gentlemen, in order to have more, we need to take more risks. Most of us, majority of us, do not take risks. They live the life as it is going on. They never bother about, they will not reach anywhere. And they don't bother about the time. They live the life as if they will live the life for 1,000 years. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the minute comes and goes. Here is the hour comes and goes. Here is the day comes and goes. Here is the week comes and goes. Here is the year comes and goes. At the end of the day, at the end of your career or maybe life, you will not be reaching anywhere. Life will stare at you and say that you have finished. So, the life is all about taking risks. So, some people are risk takers. They always take risks and they move forward and achieve the things. Now, the question is that life is all about progress. Life is all about development. Life is all about growing and moving forward. Some people do not feel fear to take risks. Do not feel fear to take risks. They will always take risks and move forward and achieve whatever they wanted to achieve. Here, I have used the word fear. See, you can either live your dreams or you can live your fears. Majority of us, most of us are living with our fears. We are all having something which is stopping us, which is blocking us from doing what we wanted to do, from which is stopping us to achieve our greatness, which is stopping us to manifest our dreams. What is that something? That something is called fear. Ladies and gentlemen, fear means false evidence appears real. So we all have something, or some fears, other fears having us, which is stopping us from the doing great things. So this fear, we need to address about this fear. See, the fear, either you will get into the comfort zone, stay there, live the life as it is, or you should come out of your comfort zone, face those fears again and again, and get through that and reach to your destination. Now here, having a fear is not a bad thing. You can have some fears. Some fears are okay. Some fears make you more scared. So in that case, acknowledge those fears, make a counter action plan to address the fear and move forward. Having a fear is a different thing. Fears having you is a different thing. If you have a fear, you can address and move forward. And fears having you means that those fears will immobilize you, and that will not allow you to move forward. You have to find out which are those fears which are not allowing you to move. Right? So having a fear It's absolutely okay. Don't condemn yourself that you should not have a fear. Acknowledge the fear, embrace these fears. Once you embrace this fear, no, what will happen is that, see, that there is a saying, no, what you resist, no, that will persist. If you are resisting fear shouldn't have, then that will persist, that will stay with you. Once you embrace these fears and move forward, you will realize that the fear doesn't have any power. What you have thought and what you have felt, that will work, and you will be amazed that you will you you will achieve whatever you want by acknowledging those fears. Ladies and gentlemen, the fears is absolutely okay. You should handle those fears well. When you are handling these fears, no, you should think worst case scenario. Think worst case scenario. With this fear, what could go wrong? Take the worst case scenario, take a counter plan or contingency plan for that, and move forward anywhere, do that. Ladies and gentlemen, God has given many things to us. Those talents, gifts has given to us. You only can exercise that one and fill those gaps within you by doing the activity. If you don't do by fearing, those gaps, those gaps which are there in you will be filled with the negativity, garbage, alcoholism, and many other things. Once those things come and sit there with that gaps, then you will not be reaching anywhere. You will be spoiled. So if you are not filling the gaps with your greatness and talents and action, what will happen is that you will be sabotaging yourself and you will become your own enemy and you will not move anywhere in the life. So what I want to say is that don't fear about these things. The fears are always there. The fear doesn't have any power except what power you are assigning to that fear. What we do generally is that we will give disproportionately more power to the fear to sit on our head, and that will not, that psychological feeling doesn't allow us to do anything. So what I said is that if you people who are not afraid to spend their time, energy, money to take some risks and move forward, there is a possibility that they may fail. Even if they fail, the learnings, the experience, what they gain during the process of trying something better for them, nobody can take away from them. That experience helps them in the future. Once you are focused, concentrated in the life to do something great, to achieve something in your life, the journey is not going to be easy. It's very difficult, very tough. You will encounter a lot of challenges. That is the time when you feel that you feel discouraged, you feel disheartened, you feel that what I'm doing, should I move forward or not? That is the time you should not lose your courage. You should focus and focus on your target and keep on moving. You will definitely reach to the destination. The success is the journey through the pains and discouragements and failures. Unless you pass through that journey, you will not reach anywhere. If you are focused, if you are concentrated, your body, your mind, your thoughts, your emotions will help. You can control better all those four things. Once you control all those four things, body, mind, emotions, and thought process, a ordinary person can do wonders. A ordinary person can do wonders because you are controlling entire everything within you. The most important thing here is the emotions. If you, we all human beings are emotional. If you don't control your emotions, the emotions will control you. The emotions will, once emotions are controlling you, then you are not in your control. Once emotions are controlling, that means somebody else will dictating you. Somebody else has got a remote control of your life and you will control there. Ladies and gentlemen, the emotions are very important. You have to control your emotions. and move forward with that. We will talk about these emotions maybe in subsequent slides. And once you control body, mind, thoughts, and emotions, you can achieve whatever you want. Ladies and gentlemen, here the animals are the most powerful on the planet Earth. But who is ruling the world? The human being. How? By controlling the mind, body, and emotions and thoughts. That's the power of these four things. That is the gift God has given to us apart from the animals. Now the question is, when you are on the journey of success, what you do is that you decide your target first. Once you decide your target first, you decide your goal. Once you decide your goal, you start moving in the direction with a plan and strategy. When you are moving with a plan and strategy, the road will not be a straight one. Don't think that everything is bookish and everything goes smooth. No, the life has a different, practical life has a different approach. So the road will be curvy, the road will be stony. You will have a lot of hurdles. You will fall down 10 times. You will have to get up. You will face discouragements. After having seen all those things, if you keep on continuing in this road of journey, by reaching the destination, you will be a different personality. The experiences, the learnings, what the road has taught to you, what you learn from the journey are more important than the monetary benefits what you get there. And those experiences will help you in the future. And second thing is that you should learn from your failures. Failures are very important for us. One should be inclined to learn from our failures. Failures teach us how to be humble. Failures teach us how to respect your competitors and enemies, or maybe your counterparts. And we should be willing to learn from the mistakes and failures. Ladies and gentlemen, failures is a part of success journey. If you have failed somewhere, don't treat that is the end of your journey. Failures and success are hand in hand. This goes together. Without failing, you cannot explore your opportunities. Failures will be always there. But we all fail somewhere in our projects, somewhere in our assignments. Failure is not a bad thing to happen. The bad thing, what is happening is that, or you will be treated as a failure when you are failed and not get up and restart and come to the destination. That is the failure. If you fail and sitting back means you are failure. Until and unless you accept failure from your heart, you are not be treated as a failure. In the life, ladies and gentlemen, in the schools and colleges and in your institutes, you will have a fixed curriculum. You will have a fixed books. You will have a fixed syllabus. You will have a fixed teacher for each subject, and they teach, and you will get the questions from those given subjects and given curriculum. Right? In real life, when you enter into the world of corporates or maybe the organizations or maybe the society, you will not have any fixed syllabus. You will not have any fixed textbook. You will not have any teacher always available for you to teach, and you will have many questions in front of you, and you will have to answer those questions instantaneously with your experience, with your learnings. That is the time where your learnings will come into picture. When you have more than 2 questions in front of you, if you are unable to answer those questions, if you have a dilemma what to do, what not to do, then listen to yourself, listen to your inner consciousness. That inner consciousness will tell you to take the right decisions. That's where the controlling mind, body, and emotions and thoughts will come into picture. You have to control yourself. That's where this experience will come into picture. That's where you are very, very important person here. So next, Once you are controlling all those things, then comes is the you we have discussed about this one now, and then this comes into your belief system. What belief system you have, ladies and gentlemen? I wanted to say here one thing. You may have some goals, you may have all you may be working on something already, and you may have some discouragements, you may have some setbacks, maybe you already left and sat back. What is required for you is a little bit of encouragement to get back into the game. There are winners, there are losers, there are people who not yet discovered how to win. What they need is that little bit of coaching, little bit of help, little bit of support, little bit of push is required in order to visualize their limited potential what they have, in order to make a strategy to develop a plan to get into the destination. So little bit of help is required. All is required is a little bit of coaching and help. So, ladies and gentlemen, you may not have any resources. You may not have any what you say financial support, but still you can have some support and get back into the town. So what I wanted to say is that you wanted to do the same thing what you wanted to do, what you wanted for your life. Do something what is a, what gives a meaning and purpose and value to your life, and say something which enables your sense of integrity with you, which enables to find out and discover secrets to your success. What is that something? Say something which enables you to find keys to your achieve your dreams. What is that something? That something, ladies and gentlemen, please do say with conviction and passion and energy, that is, I can do it. I can do it. When you say this one, that activates different belief system in you. That takes you to the different platform wherein you believe that I can do this one. Once you say that I can do this, that belief system itself drives you. Ladies and gentlemen, whatever you are today in your institute or college or in business school, and whatever others are there, is the manifestation of greatness, what they believe that they could do in the past. We are all resultant of what we have done in the past, and that is the result what we are today. And you will be reaching to the position where you wanted to be. That depends on what belief system you are developing today. The belief system, what you believe that what could be possible for you, what you could do, what you can do, that takes you to the stage where you wanted to go. That belief system is very, very important. Ladies and gentlemen, here, when you believe that you can do that, but there is a conversation always going inside you, the inner conversation always going inside you, that always says that how can you do this? You cannot do this. There is a mind and there is a heart. These two things are contrary. So once your belief system is saying that you can do that, your inner conscious says that you cannot do that. You have to ignore that inner conversation and believe that you can do that. Many people, why they fail is that they operate with their history, with their experience, with their with the things what they've done, the things what they've seen, the experience they experienced, and based on that they will take the decisions and believe, and they will, if something happens, they sit back. What I wanted you to do is that you work with the larger imagination of yourself. Have a larger vision of yourself. Use your imagination. Use your belief system and have a vision. If you are operating with the history, you will not believe yourself. You have to have a fresh belief system on you and have a faith, and move forward. That will take you to the destination wherever you wanted to go. That's why do whatever you wanted to do different things, and act upon your ideas and dreams. Of course, when you are doing all these things, there is external influence that also will work. People will say you cannot do that. Our family members may say that you cannot do that. Maybe our colleagues may say that you cannot do that. But who are there to say that you cannot do that? You should not get into the influence of external talking, and you should not get into influence of inner consciousness which is against your belief system. These two things you should avoid to be successful. That kind of a belief system you should have. Success, ladies and gentlemen, you cannot do anything without commitment. Without consistency, you cannot finish anything. You cannot do anything without commitment, and you cannot finish anything without consistency. That means you need to have a commitment and consistency with you. It is not that easy. It is very difficult. Has it been easy, there couldn't be a one Mahatma Gandhi. There couldn't be one Nelson Mandela. There couldn't be one Mother Teresa. There couldn't be one Sachin Tendulkar. There are thousands of examples. It is not that easy. Don't ask for easiness. Ask for hardship. Hardship only will take you to the destination. If you ask for easiness, easiness is the detrimental to the success. Rather than hardship is the better for you to reach to your destination. See, in order to be successful, the first fundamental thing is that you need to change yourself. Why you have to change yourself? You need to have all those things what you wanted to have. You need to have all those fulfillments in your life. You wanted to meet your purpose of your life. You need to change yourself rather than waiting the things to change and in turn expecting that you will get returns. It will not never happen. In order to have something, first you change. Don't expect people to change. Don't expect others to change. If you are changing yourself, then you're in a right path. And the third one is you need to do all those small boring things which are essential for growth every day without fail. You need to do all those small boring things required for the success. You should do it every day on regular basis. There will be bad days, there will be good days, there will be devastating days. So don't bother. The pain of devastating days will pay you off in future. Your success will not be measured on bright sunny day. Your success will be measured on dark, cloudy, stormy day. That is the vibrant days. If you pass through those vibrant days, then only you will reach to your success. So, ladies and gentlemen, don't ask for easiness. Ask for wisdom. Ask for the knowledge. Ask for the hardships. Go through that process and get the success. See, in order to be successful, you would not be successful because your parents are successful. You wouldn't be successful because your institute is a great institute. You would not be successful because your organization is a great organization. You wouldn't be successful because you have got a lot of money. You wouldn't be successful because you are poor. These are all things, see, these all things will not add anything to you. The most important thing is you. In order you to be successful, you should be great. The greatness doesn't come because of the external things, because of the family, organization, yeah, maybe business course. Because in order to be successful, you need to go through the process. The process is you have to sacrifice many things. The greatness of success demands your time, your energy, your efforts, your long hours, long years. If you are willing to pay price for this, if you go through this all those process, success is a journey, as I said, you will be successful. Many people are unsuccessful because success demands some price from you. That price, as I said, time, money, energy, or your hardships. If you are going through all those things, you will definitely be successful. Ladies and gentlemen, apart from this, the success journey is always a long one, but that that takes you to a destination only when you pass on through each step with your commitment and conviction. Now, next step is the motivation. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the what I'm saying is that the self motivation. If you go back to the few slides, what we discussed there is four coordinate commitment or a motivation. The self motivation is very, very important whether you are leader or manager or husband or wife or student or anybody. The self motivation, when in order to improve the self motivation, ladies and gentlemen, you should be deliberate about your what you are doing. You should be deliberate about what you are eating. What deliberate about how many hours are you are sleeping. You should be deliberate about what you are drinking. So you should be deliberate about everything. You should be deliberate about your health. Once you have those are deliberate about yourself, then the most important comes is the discipline. Ladies and gentlemen, the only basic difference between the successful people and unsuccessful people is the discipline. The successful people are always disciplined people. They are always disciplined about their time. They are disciplined about their assignment. They are disciplined about their targets, and they do nothing until and unless what they decided to do. That is the discipline. If you are a disciplined person, it clearly looks out. People can figure out who is disciplined, who are not disciplined. The disciplined people can be figured out by the way they are spending the time. So be disciplined about, if you have a discipline, the self motivation automatically comes into your mind. You will be motivated to do the things. And the discipline is a key word here. Make yourself disciplined. And then most important thing is that work on yourself. Try to work on yourself always. Work on yourself means try to develop your personality. We spend more time on our jobs, we spend more time on our profession than the time what we spend on our personal development, personal growth, improving our skills. See, ladies and gentlemen, what happens is that we feel a lot of things to our body to keep our health good, but seldom we feed good things to our mind, keep our mental health in a good condition. So the personality development comes there. You have to develop yourself. You have to read many books. You have to read many. You have to attend many seminars. You have to be with the people who are successful. Then only you can develop your personality. Spend more time on you to develop yourself. Then that creates a different kind of a motivation within you because of this your confidence what you have. Then in a life you have to decide what you wanted to do, what you wanted in the life. That is the most important thing. Without that you cannot reach anywhere. So you have to write what you wanted to have in the life. Write three things what you wanted out of your life, what you wanted to have out of your relationships, what you wanted out of your professional life, what you wanted out of your spiritual life, what you wanted to have a social life. You have to be very, very clear. Please do write down three things what you wanted. Once you write all these three things now, read these things in a day, three times in a day, morning, noon, in the night. Why it is so important to read? Because once you think, keep in your mind now, that will stay for few days. If you write in a paper, that will stay for few weeks. If you read, think, read, and read it repeatedly every day, that keeps your focus on the things what you wanted out of your life. Once you focus on that one, then what will happen is that you will find some opportunities. You will find some ways, the means to reach to achieve those three things, whatever you have written. That always keeps you exploring the possibilities. That keeps you in a positive frame of mind with commitment that you should get those things. You will always work in this direction. That's why Write it down, read it 3 times every day, whatever that may be you wanted. So when you are doing this one, again the inner conversation says that why you need this one? You cannot do that. The inner overcoming that inner conversations is very very important. You should not listen to that one. You should listen to your belief system and act upon that one. If you are listening to your inner conscious, that means that will kill your belief system. Next thing is that activate a thinker within you. Thinker means think it rationally everything. Don't be vague about that one. If you take the things on a merit with analysis, with objective evidences, if you activate a thinker in yourself, then things will automatically analyze which is bad, which is good, how to do, where to do. And then when you have a goal and reading, be specific about that one. Don't be vague about that one. Specific means whatever you want, write it, whether it's 0 or 10 or maybe anything. Be specific. Specify what you want and how to want when you want. If you are not specifying that one, you are not determining the time frame, you are not determining the quantity or quantifying the thing what you wanted. If you are not specific, that means that goal or achievement what you want is useless. Be specific about that what you wanted in your life, and then whatever you wanted to become, whatever you wanted to become, it takes some time. You have to go through that journey. And if you join a management training, tomorrow you will not become a VP of the company. It takes some time. It is a journey. Visualize yourself there. If you wanted to become a chief executive, next 10 years, now you are working on that. Visualize yourself being a chief executive. Adapt yourself, whatever you are doing today, as if you are a chief executive, what you will do if you are a chief executive. Visualize yourself as a chief executive, get into that mode and see that you are a chief executive, you are managing the show. Visualize and imagine. That creates a lot of passion within you. That creates a lot of motivation within you. That creates a commitment within you. So visualize yourself. Don't forget to visualize yourself whatever you wanted to be in future. And then most important thing is that after having all those things, whatever you wanted, why you deserve it? Do you really deserve all these things? Aspirations are very good, but do you really deserve it? Do you have all those qualities within you? Write 5 reasons why you deserve it. Why you want to become a chief executive? Do you have all those attributes and qualities to become a chief executive? And what you have, why you deserve, and what you are going to do. Write 5 reasons why you deserve particular thing what you wanted to do. Once you write those 5 reasons, now what will happen is that life is not a smooth linear line. Life is a curved path. You will have a lot of ups and downs. You will have a lot of surprises. You will have a lot of failures. When you write down these 5 reasons why you deserve it, when you have a down times, when you have a failures, when you have a discouragements, take out this paper and read why you deserve it. That will keep you in the track. That will push you continuously. Oh, okay, now I deserve it. I will do it. So those during those down times will help you. Life has a strange ways to deal with us. It will hit you in the blind spot between the eyes. Murphy's law is always striking at your door. What you think now, that immediately something opposite will happen. During that time, you should keep yourself motivated. So write 5 reasons why you deserve the things what you think that you deserve, and then master the skills. Master those skills, whatever skills are required to reach to your destination. Master some skills. Master in such a fashion that people should know that this guy, maybe this lady, is known for that particular topic. known for that particular skill. That could be anything. Master those things to the perfection. People should know by your name about he is the master in that. If you master that those skills, no, that will help you. That helps you in building up your confidence, and that will help you your motivation level to go high. That will in turn help you to reach to the three goals, whatever you have written. That that is the magic of mastering the knowledge and skill. Try to acquire knowledge and skill, whatever field, whatever topic, whatever project you wanted to do, master it in such a fashion. And before closing this motivation, and the most important thing I wanted to tell you is the have a health program. Have a good health program. This, if you don't have a good health program, the vehicle of body is the main source for taking us to the toward the journey of the life. If you don't care of this one, it will break down somewhere and you will not reach anywhere. So have a solid health plan. It is very difficult to have a health plan and follow and meet that expectation of health. It's very difficult, but make a health plan which you can practice regularly on daily basis, and then slowly, gradually increase to the level where you can sustain that one, and that keeps your health intact, your mind intact. Yeah, if you don't have a healthy mind, you cannot become a leader. You cannot become a great leader. You cannot become a great person. If you have a healthy mind and a healthy body, that will keep you moving. Keep this vehicle of body intact properly with a proper health plan. Majority of us spend our time, energy, everything on building up our career, and we forget about our health, and maybe after 50, 40, our body will not give support to us to enjoy those whatever you wanted to have in our life. Have a good health plan, and the last one is the friends. You have a good friends around you who can teach you, who can nourish you, who can hold your hand in tough times, and most importantly, those friends who can tell on your face upfront with you that you are doing this wrong, you have committed a mistake here. Those kind of friends you need to have who will help growing you. Try to find out those people in and around you, the people who are not helping you, holding you, and they are not with you, are openly not telling your deficiencies. They are not good friends. Try to avoid those people and say yes to everything. And say yes to everything. Yes, I can do this. Yes, I can do this. As I will try this one. The power of conviction gives a lot of motivation to yourself. And then we discussed about the emotions, and emotions has got a very important role to play in your life. I will take 1 minute of this circuitry of brain. We have got a brain, upper brain, lower brain. Lower brain has got a thalamus is a gland which is there in our mind. Within that, this entire data will be processed and it will send to our sensory systems. And see, there are two minds. One is the amygdala and the neocortex. Neocortex is the brain which takes the information and rationally evaluate and take the decisions. While amygdala is there in the lower brain, wherein that quickly takes the information without rational thinking, it takes the decisions. So this amygdala in our mind quickly takes the information from the relay center, what is called thalamus, and it processes within less than 12 milliseconds. Whereas neocortex takes 24 milliseconds to process the information. That means amygdala quickly takes the information without any logical reason, takes the decisions. Then that the decisions are instantaneous decisions without logic. Whereas the neocortex takes the decisions with a logic, and accordingly it passes the reaction. But before that, amygdala comes into the picture. So see, if you talk about this success iceberg, below the iceberg are the emotions, values, and beliefs and thinking system which are internal to us, which doesn't seem to be outside world. Whereas the results and behaviors are appearing to the other people outside. So the below the iceberg is the most important thing which really governs our emotions. I'm not taking much time here because lack of time. The primary there are the four emotions: mad, sad, glad, and scared. Sometimes we'll get mad and angry. Sometimes we're sad. Sometimes we will be glad because something happened to us, which we like to happen to us, and scared, afraid of. These are the primary basic four emotions which will be controlled by amygdala. And see, emotional intelligence has a great impact in our corporate world and industrial world and society. It could be there in the corporates, in the leaders, it could be in the schools, it could be in organizations, healthcare, and of course you being as an individual also it helps us. I'm quickly going through this one because this is one of the extracts of one of my sessions, 4 hour sessions of emotional intelligence. What I wanted to say here is that emotional intelligence plays a major role in this decade and coming 4 5 decades to handle the things successfully, handle the relationships successfully, handle everything successfully. So you should be emotionally aware of yourself. You should be emotionally intelligent about yourself. Now here I will quickly take how this amygdala hijack, which takes the information in 12 less than 12 milliseconds, takes the decisions. In Mike Tyson, one of the fights in 1997, he bites the ear of the Evander Holyfield. That has instantly happened. What has happened is that such a famous boxer, Mike Tyson, because of this act of amygdala Isaac, we call it as amygdala Isaac, that processes the information without logic, and he bites his ear and he has been disqualified by the World Boxing Championship. And then in 1991, he was accused of raping one of the participants in the reality show, and such a great person, professionally well, great personality in Mike Tyson in profession in boxing, but whereas in personal life, because of these emotions and lack of emotional control, his life has been ruined. And coming to the one of the incident in Nepal, and massacre has happened in June 2001. 9 of the family members is killed by one of his brother, one of the son of the king, because of Magdala Isaac, Amygdala Isaac. Because what has happened is that there is a heated exchange of words, and with that moment of that one, then Amygdala Isaac happened, he killed his family. The same thing has happened with Pramod Mahajan and his brother Praveen Mahajan, as he killed his brother in spur of the moment in 5 minutes time. And one of the interviews he said, I don't know what has happened during that 15 minutes time. I have not killed Pramod. That means there are some emotions, bad emotions are carried out in his mind. They were sitting in your mind, and instantly that day, because of some arguments, the amygdala attack has happened. And so that's why what I wanted to say is that you should be very careful about your decision. Give some time between your reaction and when there is a reaction, you should be before giving your response, have some time. That time helps you to control your amygdala hijack. If you see, there is a rule called hero rule. Something has happened, and because of that, there is a reaction. That reaction could be positive or negative. If it is a positive reaction, then that is a fruitful outcome, and it is a negative, this is an adverse outcome. And then see what I wanted to say is that whenever something happens, before responding to or reacting to that one, give some time between these two. That could be 1 second, 2 seconds, and 10. Generally, people say 10 seconds. For anything which is happening in front of you, give some time to react. If you are instantly reacting, there could be a chance of Magdala Isaac. So if you are giving some time, that means you are allowing neocortex to react, process it logically, and then take the decisions. That outcome will be much better outcome than this one. So don't allow yourself under trap of amygdala Isaac. Use this hero rule happening and then reaction between them, that there is a evolution. That time you have to bite that time so that the result should be always positive. And coming to the attitude, attitude is everything. You all know it. Because of the time scarcity, I am not going in detail. There are 10 attitudinal diseases. You should avoid all those diseases. This is itself is a one session of 5 hours. Now just I am just touching upon. So you avoid this all 10 attitudinal diseases. The first one is the what is the negativity, indecisiveness, worry, doubt, self-doubt, and pessimism, procrastination, over caution, and lack of gratitude, lack of self-awareness, and complaining. So if you talk about all these things, now each topic will take around 1 hour time. I am not touching upon, but basically attitude means what you feel about others, what you feel about yourself. This is the nutshell. This is the two things. The attitude talks about how you feel about your present, how you feel about your past, how you feel about your future. This is called about feeling about yourself, and feeling about others, how you feel about others, how you how you take them with the merit, how you take them when the things are not going as per your guidance. So attitude is everything, and here the most important thing is a lack of gratitude. You should be practicing the gratitude with the people. I will touch upon this gratitude in the next slide. So then you have a value system. Being a good leader, you should have a value system, good value system. Those value system means the first one is appreciation. You should appreciate whatever you have. You should appreciate the things what you have with you, the things what is there in and around us. We appreciate everything. Appreciation means appreciate your colleagues and their efforts towards you. Appreciate your parents, their efforts towards your grooming, thereby you what you are today. Appreciate the system, political system, the governance, the, the philosophies, the methods what you have in our democracy. Appreciate the evolution of this system. Appreciate the services people are providing to you. Appreciate the things what you have. Appreciate the things with people. Appreciate the services of the people. Once you appreciate these people, this is called the gratitude towards the people. The gratitude is the biggest one which leaders generally practice. The gratitude will build up the relationships. Gratitude makes you to feel thankful for the people. Gratitude makes other people feel thankful for you. Then thereby the relationship build up will comes into picture. And then acknowledgement. Acknowledge the things what you have personally. Acknowledge the abilities what you have. Acknowledge the skills what you have. Acknowledge the knowledge what you have. If you acknowledge all those things what you have, then you are aware of all those abilities what you have, and then you can do whatever you wanted to do according to your plan. Many people don't realize what capabilities they have. They don't acknowledge themselves. They try many things. They try many things and they fail. And they think that that is the way life goes on. No. You should be aware of yourself, acknowledge your ability, skills, talent, and resources, whatever you have, and plan you according to your abilities and go move forward. And if required, take some help from the others, whomsoever is there. And then next comes is opportunity. We have got plenty of opportunities in the era of communication. We should use those opportunities. We should find those opportunities. Sometimes what happens now, we do a lot of things. When the opportunity comes, we miss it because of lack of awareness of that one. There are plenty of opportunities. The era of internet and communication, a lot of changes happening. These unimaginary things are going on. Opportunities are plenty. If you are open, your eyes and ears and take the things and analyze objectively, you can identify those opportunities and you can grab those things. Then integrity. Why integrity is required here in value system is that if you maintain the integrity when the downtimes comes, you will not compromise with your integrity. This integrity and value system during the downtimes will take you forward. That is where your team, your associates, your management looks at you and how you have taken that crisis situation into the opportunity. That is only possible with the integrity. Integrity comes with many of your character, your behavior, your attitude, your gratitude, your self-awareness and self-awareness of the people will help you to maintain your integrity. Integrity is not standalone. This is a cumulative of many things. And morality. Morality is the thing doing right things, not bad things during your professional life, maybe in social life. What is morality means? Nowadays, the meaning of morality has changed. We suppress the many things. We move on. In order to move forward, we take many decisions, feel that that is the right thing to do. But that may not be the right thing. Moral means without affecting any third party or others, you take your decisions, move to your destination. That is called the morality. So nowadays it's a very rarely seen commodity in the corporate world, but it is essential one to sustain. And the people means your success, your value system is not stand alone. You are because of many people. You are because of your team, you are because of your organization, you are because of your family, you are because of many others. See, you stand alone, nobody. The people and fortunes are together. The people and fortunes are together. Don't neglect people. People of your team, respect them, groom them, handle them, train them. If you train and groom your team members, they will stay with you for a longer time. The bottom line's profits comes and goes, but the team members to whom you have trained and groomed, they will be always with you. They never leave you. That is, the people are asset. Without people, nobody is important. The material, the gold is nothing. The gold is a value what we assign. The people are important who are producing that one. The people are better than that one. The value is not important. The people are very important here. We take care of the people in order to be a great leader in future. The people are very important. And fairness. The fairness is the inverted word in the corporate world nowadays. If you are fair enough to your employees, fair enough to your subordinates, fair enough to your team members, fair enough to people in and around you, the fairness can be easily seen. It is a long gone process that fairness can be hidden and then we can get on. It is impossible. Fair means as per the books and the behavior with this, all the employees should be uniform. That is the fairness. That is called the transparency in your dealings. When you are transparent in your dealing, people will trust you. When people trust you, the faith generates. When faith generates, people will love to follow you. When people love to follow you, you can make a solid team. So fairness is very important. Don't be foolish by yourself by behaving unfairly with the people, then you will be finished. Forgiveness.
Hello, sorry to interrupt you, sir. Just a minute.
Yeah.
So actually, the students have another,
What is the
commitment
time
at
now?
4:45.
Pardon?
So, would it be possible to wind it up in 5 or 10 minutes?
It's almost over.
Okay, sir. Okay, yeah. Thank you, sir.
So then the forgiveness is that the forgiveness means, so when you do many things, sometimes you also fail. Sometimes you fail professionally, you fail personally, you fail in many fronts. Then what happens is that in that case, you can have a guilt and pain both. So pain you can carry and forget about that one. That you can carry that one, and that will subside. That guilt you should not carry. If you carry the guilt, that will build up in your mind, and one day, other day, affect your total uh, thought process. So don't carry any guilt and forgive the people for the mistake and yourself and whatever mistakes you have committed. Admit the mistakes. Admit the mistakes of yourself. That creates a great, good communication among your team members. And then the faith. The faith is the one main thing. The people faithfully follow the leader, and your faith is most important to build up their careers, and then in turn to maintain the faith in the organization you should be faithful to your people, at the same time faithful to yourself also. And the vision, without vision the leaders cannot be built up. Without, you have to sell your vision to your team members, then only you will be successful. So you have a great vision. The vision has a broad word, we can discuss it in separately. And then be hungry. So you should be hungry about your whatever you do. You never satisfy yourself. You should always be striving for better than what you have done last night, what you have done yesterday. You should be hungry about your results. You should be hungry about development of your people. You should be hungry about many things, whatever you are doing, and never satisfy yourself. So that's it from my side, and I have quickly ended up. Sorry for the exceeding 10-15 minutes more. So that's it. If anything, anybody has anything, we can discuss. Yes, ma'am. Hello.
Hello. Yes, sir. I can hear you, sir.
Yeah, we can spend 2-3 minutes. If anybody has any questions, then we can. Otherwise,
Yeah,
we can finish
please
up.
go ahead, guys. If you have any questions, just raise your hands. Anybody who has any questions, please raise your hands. Yes, anybody has any questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay. There are no questions. We can conclude, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. We would have loved to hear you all day. Unfortunately, we have some other commitments at 4:45, but it was a great session, and you covered so many no, wide area of topics. So leadership is not just one thing; it is a combination of many things, and that is something we have realized after today's session. So thank you very much for the session, sir.
Yeah.
I'm sure the students have learned a lot, and I'm sure it will inspire my students to become great leaders themselves. So again, on behalf of all the students and NBS, thank you very much for joining us today.
Yeah, well, thanks for the opportunity to interact with the students, and I apologize for this little bit of time going behind the schedule. Okay, so see, because the topic is such that it's a never-ending one. So thanks once again
I
to
agree.
your business school, your students, and yourself for the coordinating well, and looking forward to have interaction with you in future.
Sure, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Bye.